We'll call to order the agenda for the library district. It's Tuesday, June the 11th, 2024, 10 o'clock a.m. We're in the Board of Supervisors hearing room, Melody Lane. Pursuant to ARS 38-431.02H, the public will have physical access to the meeting place 15 minutes prior to the start of the meeting. Any item on this agenda is open for discussion and possible action, and we begin again with the roll call. District 1?
Crosby is here.
District 2, Supervisor English is present. District 3?
Supervisor Judd is here.
We have a complete board. Members of the public may also attend this meeting by Microsoft Teams computer or mobile app, or by phone by calling 602-609-7513 or 888-680-6714. Conference ID 518-30736 pound. If you have trouble accessing this meeting remotely, call 520-432-9200 for direction. The board may permit public comment during the discussion of any item on this agenda. To speak on an agenda item, complete and return the speaker request form to the clerk of the board by 9 o'clock a.m. on the day of the meeting. And we have had no request. So we begin with the consent agenda, which is item 1.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the consent agenda item number 1.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Chair votes aye, and it's unanimous and approved. And now we go to the action items number 2. Mr. Karwatska, do you have comments you wish to make?
I do. Do we want to do a motion first?
Yes. Go ahead. We need a motion.
Madam Chair, I move
ahead,
to adopt
Tom.
the tentative budget of the library district for fiscal year 2024-2025 in the amount of $3,248,568.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Mr. Karwatska.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, Supervisor Judd, Supervisor Crosby. Just wanted to give an overall view about budgets before we get into specifically the library district. When we build the budgets for our county, we build them around our operating expenses. And also we build it in the sense that once the budget is approved on a tentative level and a final level, it can no longer increase. It can only decrease going forward. So we build that in mind. So when we talk about the library district, that's the budget that we put forth in place. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is truth and taxation. I know we're not at that point, but I think it kind of flows into the conversation in a sense of where the budget is being built around. So even though the tax rate is not established until August, we still build this information around the budget. And the reason for a truth and taxation hearing is because the levy is increased. Now, once again, to explain what the levy is. The levy is the tax rate and the assessed value. When you multiply those together, if the levy, that is the end result of that, the summation, if that increased at all, then you have to have a truth and taxation hearing. So, perfect example here for the library district, you look at the rate has stayed the same. However, there has been an increased assessed value, which means there was an increase in levy, which would need a truth and taxation hearing that would happen on the second agenda item that the board is willing to pass. Then that would happen in July. So I just wanted to give that general overview. I know it was a little more detailed in the library district, but that's the first one that encompasses all those topics. So with that, if there's any questions, we do have Ms. Rickett.
Well, I would comment, Mr. Karwatska, that the language of the truth and taxation statute includes a final date, but doesn't preclude earlier discussion. And I would also add the budget is a dream. It is not necessarily the reality of what has been spent, which of course can only be accomplished in a yearly audit.
I think the bottom line is if you bring in more money than you brought in last year, for whatever reason, then you have to have a truth in taxation. So the public knows that yes, we're bringing in more money than we brought in last year. Isn't that the bottom line?
It is. And we have to give notice to the public so that come July, they can come here and voice their concerns
Right.
before the tax rate is established.
Right.
So we can't do that ahead of time. We have to give notice to the world, basically, to say, hey, this is what's going on. There's been an increase. Do you have comments and concerns about it? And so after that hearing, then the board can set that in August.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So having said that, do the board members have any questions or concerns about the library district proposal for the tentative budget?
No.
Not at this time.
Okay, then I guess that we have a motion and we have a second, so I will call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Chair votes aye, and it's unanimous and approved. Now we go to item number 3, which has been sort of explained, but we still need to go through the process.
Madam Chair, I move that we set a truth and taxation hearing pursuant to ARS 48-254 for July 9th, 2024 at 10 a.m. in the Board of Supervisors Hearing Room, 1415 Melody Lane, Building G, Bisbee, Arizona, to receive public comment on the proposed tax levy.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions about the truth and taxation hearing?
No.
Hearing none, now I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Chair votes aye, and it's unanimous and approved. We have no further business for the library district, but I'll say the next meeting is immediately in the Board of Supervisors hearing room for the flood control district. Having said that, this meeting is adjourned.